Well, it's a historic day at Ohio Stadium. Here's a live look at the Horseshoe as we're about 30 minutes out from the spring game, shown for the first time ever right here on Fox 28. Now, there's plenty of new talent joining an already star-studded Buckeye roster, and today fans get to see these new stars in action. Many of them already saying they love Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, I love the city. I love High Street. I love being in the city. Love going to the restaurants here. The food's great here, so ain't got no complaints from me.
We're taking you up to kickoff as the Buckeyes push for another national title starts right now here on the Football Fever.
We got a full player.
Welcome into the Football Fever, the spring game edition. You can already feel the energy and the excitement here in the shoe as fans continue to pile in to see the Buckeye Stars in action. I'm Kellyanne Stinson. I'm joined by a couple of former star Buckeyes, Jay Richardson and Obi Stillwell. And guys, let me just say, it's so nice to be back talking ball with you guys. And it's a great weather, but a lot has happened since we all last got together. Ryan Day making some big hires and additions to his staff. Huge additions from the transfer portal, but Jay, most importantly, a lot of guys returning on defense who could have went to the NFL draft. How big is that for the Buckeyes?
Kellyanne, it's huge. When you have guys like Jalen Tuimoloau, when you got Jack Sawyer, when you got Denzel Burke, when you got all of these big-time guys who easily could have went and tested the waters and headed on to the next level, all of them had first, second-day grades, and they said, no, our business is not finished here at Ohio State. There's some things we want to get done, and that's what makes this the most anticipated football season we've had around these parts in a long time.
Yes, that's a reflection of the brotherhood here too, and a lot of eyes on a lot of key guys. And Obi, one, Sonny Styles, making that transition from safety to linebacker this season. You've watched him play since his high school days in Pickerington. How do you think that transition will go, and do you think that's a great move for him there?
Absolutely. I've watched him even before his high school days. I remember his father in 8th grade told me, he said, Obi, he's a dog. He has it in him. He said, but I haven't told him yet. He said, I haven't told him yet. And but it's coming out. I think it's a move that I think we all kind of anticipated. 6'3", 6'4", 220-something pounds. He has the build. He has the ability, the athletic ability to play on that curl and that hook route on the wheel. Also, as a buck linebacker, he can tangle with that tight end, with the tight end. Also, he's bulky enough, I believe, to also take the middle. I think we're going to see him in a lot of different phases of the game, but I am excited that he's in the LB room for sure.
That's right, and a lot of good praise from him so far, too, in that transition. But it's going to be a very exciting edition of the Football Fever here. We'll have a lot more coming up in the next 30 minutes, but first, let's send it back to you guys in studio. Ben, Justin, and Rodney. Take it away, guys.
All right, thank you, Kellyanne. Great start as always. Rodney Dunnigan in studio with former Buckeyes, Ben Buchanan and Justin Zwick. Of course, we have to start with our former quarterback here, as quarterback competition is expected to be one of the biggest topics of today's game. Of course, Will Howard is replacing Kyle McCord on the roster. Now, Howard had a pretty good run, 4-year run, in fact, at Kansas State. The big question, what are you looking forward to seeing from him today on the field, Justin?
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing him play. I've been to one practice, but, you don't get to see a ton of film or a ton of clips throughout the spring ball here. So it'll be fun to see him get out there, see how he's taking control of the huddle, how comfortable he looks up there. I doubt they make any changes at the line of scrimmage or give him any kind of extra stuff that he's going to have to do. Just get out there, call the play, get up, see what you're seeing, and go out and make your reads. I'm excited. I think that quarterback room is tons of talent. Devin Brown came back, wants to battle. He's looked pretty good, I think, from what I've heard and what I saw the one day I was at practice. So it's interesting to see. It's going to be fun to see these young guys. Julian Sain just lost his black stripe. The quarterback room, everybody always wants to see, especially when you don't know who the starter is going to be. We do expect Will Howard to be that guy, but a lot of
they certainly paid a lot of money
there
for him.
Well, I don't know what that number was, but yeah, a 4-year starter. I mean, he's a big guy. I looked at him like I was small, and so I think he's going to be somebody that they lean on with that experience. Being through the game, 61% completions last year at Kansas State. It's somebody that has that experience, and they're going to want to roll with him, I'm sure.
Yeah. And speaking of that quarterback competition, as for the other quarterback in this competition, let's talk Devin Brown now. Of course, he returns after a couple of injuries last year, including in the Cotton Bowl. Bowl, which pretty much led to an ugly first career start, as we all know. Justin, I'll ask both of you guys this. And he did say something that definitely I love. He wants to stay here and battle it out in the quarterback competition, which is something that we typically aren't seeing in the college ranks nowadays. What do you think about that? Just about the fact that he wants to stand there and be a man and say, hey, I'm going to win this job. I'm not going to win this job, but I'm going to support this team.
Yeah, I love it. I've kind of been through that myself. It's like battle, didn't win, and you're still here and you still want to support your guys. He burned the boats last year. Yeah. So he doesn't have any way out anymore, I don't think. But watching him, I think he grew a little bit. Now that last game he played in, mentally can mess with a quarterback when you're not, 100%. Your ankle's bad. The line's not playing that well. But he came back. I think he's messed with his mechanics a little bit over the offseason. He looked pretty sharp throwing the ball. And I think he's given Will Howard a better competition than maybe people expected. But at the end of the day, the experience is just going to get him, I think.
In this transfer portal era, NIL craze, guys, I respect a guy immensely. You're going to come back, not only double down on yourself, but believe, hey, I can be the guy at Ohio State. Devin Brown really went up in my book, seeing him come back and being able to compete. Now, there's
also some portals coming, so we'll see what happens.
Well,
it'll be interesting to see what happens on Monday morning.
Yeah. That's
100%. It's great. You love to see it because in this day and age, it's so easy to just jump and go and find somewhere else to play.
That shows some character.
I tell you what, we definitely respect him for now, at least. How about that? One of the other big storylines of the offseason has been the return of so many Buckeye juniors who could have been right in the NFL, getting ready, of course, right now. On the offensive side, we have wide receiver Emeka Egbuka, who fought injuries all last season. Ben, what does it tell you about these stars that they wanted to come back here and take care of business, hopefully headed to a natty this year?
Absolutely. It tells me, Ronnie, they want to win something tangible. This senior class, man, they have won a lot of football games, but that taste in their mouth after the Cotton Bowl last year, man, that was a bad one. So to come back, you talk about the Big Ten titles, the gold pants, the college football playoff, obviously being there 2 years ago against Georgia, the heartbreak, but to win a national title, to win a Big Ten championships, to get those gold pants back around your neck, we need that back in Columbus, and somebody like Emeka Egbuka who's coming back, again, that's a character thing for me, big thing. Second only really to Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, call it what it is. Marv, a generational talent, going to be probably a top 10 draft pick, as we know, but Emeka coming back, he had a breakout 22 season. His stats here, 74 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Struggled with the injuries last year, goes down to 41 receptions, 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So him to come back, handle some business, now be the guy in Columbus, guys, just to kind of step out of the shadow of Marvin Harrison Jr. Emeka is a immense talent. I think he's going to go off this year and really leave his own legacy at Ohio State.
Love to have those veterans. Another big offseason move, of course, head coach Ryan Day giving up the play calling. Bill O'Brien was here for about a week or so, but now Chip Kelly is running the offense. He stepped down as head coach, of course, at UCLA to join his buddy staff. Justin, what do you think we should expect from Chip Kelly's offense this season?
Well, I think he's going to, want to establish the run. I think Chip Kelly is a guy who likes to have the run, use the quarterbacks in those run schemes, and I think that's going to be something that he's going to try and bring to us. Now, it's interesting because he used to work with Justin Fry, who's now the offensive line coach at Ohio State, out in UCLA. Fry may have been a coordinator towards the end of his time there. So it's nice to see those two get back together, and I wonder if that's going to help maybe bring our offensive line along a little bit more, especially having Chip and Justin work together before. Justin kind of knows what Chip expects out of the offensive line and where he needs them to be. So I expect that run-heavy offense to start the year off, especially with the quarterbacks, when we're just trying to ease them into it. And I think Chip brings that, and I'm excited to see his offense. And, just having him be the one calling the plays, Ryan's not having to worry about it. He can focus on that. I think that's something he was looking for, getting out of the head coaching.
Yeah.
With everything that goes in with the head coaching nowadays, with the NIL and all that, he just wants to coach football. And I think he's in a great spot. He has all the talent in the world around him to do so. And I'm really looking forward to seeing
Many
his
people
offense.
saw the interview of that. His wife came up to him and said, hey, you seem so happy, right? You seem, it's because I'm coaching ball, right? Not all the
he's
other
doing
stuff.
what he loves to do, not all the other stuff.
And that's so awesome. Make no mistake about it. That was a huge get for Ryan Day as the OC.
To go from Bill O'Brien, and then, you're gone. All right, well, hey, we'll just bring in Chip Kelly. What a home run hire.
I mean, home run hire.
The fans are expecting some excitement, no doubt. Of course, we are just getting started on the Football Fever, the spring game edition. We'll look at a couple of young stars you will definitely want to keep an eye on today. Plus, we'll head back out to the Chew where the Fever team will have more on what will be a historic day on campus. You're watching the Football Fever.
Welcome back to a special edition of the Football Fever, the Spring Game Edition. And we are taking you right up to kickoff of the spring game right here on Fox 28. This is the first time it will be nationally televised. Over 59,000 tickets were sold as of Friday morning. They were expecting 70,000 fans here. A lot of people piling in to watch the Stars today. But Obi, with all the momentum and excitement surrounding this program, how big of a recruiting day is a day like today for Ryan Day?
You know what? I think it's a big day because of the spring game, but I believe that what Jay had mentioned earlier about the players that are coming back, that is really what has the anticipation of the country. All eyes on Columbus right now. And yes, it's a great recruiting day, not just because it's the spring game, but it's the anticipation of the season that I believe everyone's excited about.
Absolutely. And let's hear from Coach Day about what he expects to get out of the game today.
Yeah, I think it's a great day planned. An opportunity to be the first ever spring game that's going to be televised nationally on Fox is just so exciting for our guys and for Buckeye Nation and for the program. Really cool, really great opportunity. So our guys want to put on a good show, and have some fun with it.
All right, Jay, if any of the spring games were on national TV, how much juice would that give you to want to put on a show?
Oh, Kellyanne, let me tell you something right now.
All right.
I put on some shows and some spring games in my time.
Let's hear it.
I mean, you could turn the clock back to 2004. I had 3-4 sacks in the spring game. But if you were to tell me this is going to be nationally televised, hold on, in the NIL era, where there's opportunities to get sponsorships and make a little bit of you-know-what off of my name, image, and likeness, I might mess around and get 6-7 sacks in this game. Couldn't nobody block me if I know the whole world's watching. So yes, this is going to be one of those games where these kids have a little bit more on the line than people think.
Yeah.
It's not just a spring game, it's a nationally televised spring game during the NIL era where you know you're going to have all eyes on you. Look for some of these skill position guys and some of these D linemen to try to make some big time plays and get a little bit of notoriety, maybe get a little bit of juice.
And even some possible GMs or NFL scouts watching. It's on national TV. The reach is crazy.
Everyone's watching, and you know every GM and every owner is going to be watching this game because Ohio State is where the talent comes. In the last 20 years, no team has put more players in the NFL than the Ohio State Buckeyes, so I guarantee they're watching.
All right, we can already feel the excitement here between us three and all the crowd here. We'll be right back with more on some of the young Buckeyes looking to shine today. You are watching the Football Fever. Stick with us.
Welcome back to the Football Fever. One of the stars of spring practice has been freshman wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. The team tweeting out this video of an amazing one-handed catch. Get this, it already has 2 million views and counting. Wow. Now, Smith came to Ohio State with all the hype in the world. He was a #1 high school football player in his class and came to OSU, continuing Brian Hartline's streak of getting the very best wide receivers in the entire country. Smith lost his black stripe in only 4 practices, the fastest ever for a freshman. For more on his expected impact, let's send things over to Ben and Justin.
All right, thanks, Rodney. As we know, the Buckeyes lost a massive superstar and wide receiver legend. I'll call him legend right here. He is Marvin Harrison Jr., but there's still plenty of elite talent in Brian Hartline's Ohio State wide receiver room. Justin, one new wide receiver fans are super eager to see today is the talented Jeremiah Smith. What are the realistic expectations for this guy? Not only freshman season, but moving forward.
Well, I think he is. He's going to be another one of those Marv-type players. I mean, and I know that's crazy to say. He's a freshman. You know, he's been on campus for 2 months, but he is the real deal. You see that highlight Rodney was talking about, 2 million views. He's made a play like that, 2 or 3 of those in every single practice from what, you know, I've been told. I saw a couple when I was down at Student Appreciation Day. He is a man out there as a freshman. I mean, he looks the part. It looks like he's been in the program for 2 or 3 years already. So I'm not surprised at what he's doing, how he lost his black stripe so quick. I think they're setting him up saying, we understand what you are, and we have to have you on this field. I think he's going to have a heck of a career here.
We know that Hartline can recruit him, but, man, he can develop him. Give him a couple years in that room.
And I think these guys know he coaches hard, and I think that's why they want to come to Ohio State, to be coached hard and make, you know, they know they're going to be coached and get better, and then we'll see Marv drafted in the top 10 this spring.
Yeah, win championships, be a first rounder. It's a pretty good combination. Good analysis by Jay Zwick here. All right, we're counting you down to kickoff for the annual spring game here in Columbus, Ohio. It's a special day being able to watch it live right here on Fox 28. We'll check back in with Kellyanne and look at some other key players to keep an eye on here soon. This is the Football Fever. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Football Fever, and the crowd was just going here because Joel Klatt and Ryan Day were just addressing all of the fans that showed up to watch the Buckeyes show out today. And Ryan Day made an important statement talking about how significant it was for those guys to return?
Yeah, he said he came back for one common purpose. That was to beat the team up north and to win a national championship. I don't know, Kelly, Jay, it's out there, right? I mean, he knows why he's here, right?
Obi, when you make that kind of statement on national television, you are basically setting the gauntlet and you're letting everyone know, all cards on the table, here's what I'm here to do. And I love that from Ryan Day. It takes that kind of aggression and that kind of focus. And sometimes you got to put a little bit of pressure on yourself and your team. So go ahead and say it.
Yes, it is. He has just enlarged the target that is on our back.
Already a large target.
Yes, I like it. I like that about him.
And speaking of one of those reasons, because a lot of guys returns, but they also made a lot of big offseason moves, including bringing in an All-American to the defense. All-American safety Caleb Downs transferred from Alabama. He's here in Columbus. Jay, looking at that defense, it's already loaded with all of the stars you have coming back, but what does that do for the defense, adding a guy like that? What kind of impact can he make?
Yeah, so I can tell you right now, Kelly, and I just spoke to somebody on that team who's a coach, and he just said, listen, Caleb Downs is the smartest young football player we have ever brought in there. He goes between the ears. He has an NFL mind. He is going to make an instant impact on this defense. We can see it on film when he's in Alabama. We know the kind of athlete he is, but to hear from a guy that has NFL experience, hey, this dude has the kind of a mind that you expect at the next level, that tells me something right there. And then, of course, the defensive line looks fantastic, and the linebackers going to be flying around. And then to have some corners back there who have experience, that is huge. So I'm expecting a lot from this defense. A defense which played fantastic under Jim Knowles last season, improved greatly, is about to make a huge stride, should be a top 5 defense all season long.
And an All-American as a freshman at Alabama, that just speaks for itself, and he's been receiving high praise from his coaches here already. Now, Obi, as we just mentioned, a lot of big offseason moves, a lot of key transfers coming in, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We're talking about Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, switching positions, but just in general, Obi, what are you looking for today's spring game, even on offense?
You know what, Jeremiah Smith, and I went to practice this past week, and I did not know that this guy was a freshman. I was standing by Lorenzo Styles, right, Sonny and Lorenzo's father, and I said, who is that guy? He said, yeah, that's Jeremiah Smith. He looks like a man-child, and the level of his play, according to how he looks, his physique, and what he's actually doing, he's performing. And I think, Jay, you had talked about Marvin, a possible, are we going to miss Marvin Harrison, right, Jr.? Are we going to miss that? I think, Jay, you can speak to that.
So my former linebacker, James Laurinaitis, little animal himself, pulled me aside, literally on the field before we walked on here, and he said, Jay, let me tell you something right now about number 4. There will be zero drop-off between Jeremiah Smith and Marvin Harrison. I don't know if people understand how impactful of a statement that is from an NFL guy to say, I've seen them both, and it's the same thing. I was blown away by that, Kelly, and I cannot believe he said that, and he was dead serious.
The intentionality of practice, and it's amazing.
It is, and I think we're all excited to see what he can do today. Now, we're just a few minutes away from the spring game. We'll hear from one of the people on the call today who knows a thing or two about Ohio State football. That's coming up. Stick with us.
but there is a lot of momentum. There's a lot of urgency, maybe more urgency than any other program in the country, and that's why Fox is going to be there.
Former Buckeye head coach Urban Meyer giving his thoughts on today's spring game. He'll be on the call in just a few minutes right here on Fox 28. All right, guys, which player are you planning to keep an eye on today? Ben, I'll start with you.
You know, guys, I was going to say Will Howard, and I do want to watch the quarterback, the transfer. I mean, he's 6'5", 235 pounds, everything that you want for in a quarterback. Want to look for the leadership. He's got the big stature, the arm strength, but now I am super curious about Jeremiah Smith, guys.
Yep.
What Obi said there, are you kidding me? There's no drop-off with the great Marvin Harrison Jr. That was from James Laurinaitis. That is one heck of a comment, and I'm going to be tuning in real close here soon.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Another receiver that hasn't been talked about. I was at practice. He jumped out multiple times. Number 13, Bryson Rogers.
Wow. Keep
an eye on him today. Just another receiver that might get lost in the fray, and you got those big guys. He was making a lot of plays at the practice I was at. So
very cool.
It'll be fun to see him today as well.
We will see how it goes. That will do it for the Football Fever. As always, hope you enjoy the game, and go Bucks.